Hey everyone. Not really in the best mood. Well, I'm a lot calmer now than I was yesterday. Yesterday, I was so angry. You know why? You want to know why I was so angry? Yep, that's the reason. Anyway, yeah, as you can see, as you can tell by that picture, today I'm going to be ranking the Toy Story movies. And also, I'm going to talk a little about Gareth Bale, just briefly talk about it, because I do think he's kind of funny. Because, you know what, we'll talk about Gareth Bale first, and then we'll get on to the real meat of the video. Gareth Bale. Basically, why I want to talk about him, I just want to talk about some funny moments that he's done over the past season. He literally, he's getting paid by Real Madrid so much money, and he literally doesn't care. He literally doesn't care. Have you seen what he was doing? When Wales qualified for Euro 2020, he held up a flag that said Wales, Golf, Madrid in that order. It said Wales, Golf, Madrid, and then at the bottom it said in that order. He literally does not care about Real Madrid. Mainly because they don't care about him, so why should he care if they don't care? And then the other week, I'm not sure if it's not sure if it was last week or the week before, but he was caught sleeping on the bench. So yeah, he was caught sleeping on the bench. And then last week, what did he do last week? What was I? Oh yeah, instead of Real Madrid preparing for a big game, and he's away playing golf. So yeah, but yeah, just give me a second. I need to get something. And yes, for the record, I'm literally just sitting in front of some cupboards on a window. Oh yeah, by the way, yesterday I did. Well, my mum bought me a power bank. It's literally just a portable phone charger. So yeah, because I got kind of tired of. Hang on, I'm losing my breath. I've literally just been out for a walk, so I'm kind of out of breath. But yeah, I needed a portable phone charger because I got kind of tired of having to charge my phone and my tablet on the other side of the room. So I just asked her to get me one of them, and yeah, and she got me a couple of wires as well. So yeah, anyway, yeah. The main reason why I wanted to come here and talk about this, ranking the Toy Story movies. Yeah, there's going to be a bit of a rant coming up. And yeah, I'm going to be ranking them from least favourite to favourite. So starting off at my least favourite is, yeah, Toy Story 4. Man, did I hate this movie. I was actually kind of, hang on, there's something on the... I was really excited to watch this movie. I was. I didn't read any reviews, and I didn't want to spoil the ending for myself. But I probably should have. I don't know what I'm doing here, but I don't know why I'm reaching up there. But yeah, I really should not have. I really just should have ended it with 3, because this movie was a travesty, an absolute travesty. You know why? Like, I'll give you a good reason why this movie is terrible. A spork is the main character. A plastic spork in a movie about toys. A kitchen utensil is the main character. Whatever idiot, hang on, whatever idiot wrote that, decided to write that in this movie, I hope he stands on an upturned Lego piece. That's the most PG I can keep this. So yeah, Woody, all the characters are idiots in this movie, apart from I think Jesse literally might be the only sane one in this movie. Buzz is kind of stupid and gets, but yeah, Buzz, you know, one of the main characters in the whole franchise. Yeah, he's in the movie for like 20 minutes. Maximum. One of the main characters in the entire franchise is on the screen for like 20 minutes. In the whole movie. Which by the way is an hour and 40 minutes. And Bo Peep in this film, instead of just, you know, this calm, friendly sheep herder, is now this lost toy that is tough and willing, and it's just a load of rubbish. I hate this movie. I hate this movie. I hate this movie. I hate this movie. And yeah, all the characters, Mr. Potato Head, Mrs. Potato Head, Ham, Slinky, Jesse, all of them have like 3 lines each. And all of them are on screen. After Sporky escapes, all of them are on screen for a maximum of about 5 minutes. Maybe even 10, I don't know. The main characters in this movie aren't even in the main part of the movie itself. They're all literally just sitting in a caravan waiting for Woody. Who, if you haven't seen the movie, I'm going to spoil it here. You might want to skip forward about 20 to 30 seconds, or maybe about a minute, because this is a serious rant coming up. Woody abandons all of his toy friends, like Woody, like Jesse, Mr. Potato Head, Buzz, Ham, Slinky, Mrs. Potato, all for Bo Peep, who he bumped into a day ago in a carnival that he's been in for. Who he bumped into a day ago at a carnival he's been in for 2 days. Just because they went on one adventure together, Buzz thinks he should stay with Bo Peep. Hang on. Yeah, Woody abandoned all of his old friends for Bo Peep, who he hasn't. At the start of the movie was kind of emotional. Well, not really emotional. People, even Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, said the ending was emotional. I disagree strongly. No offense. Obviously they're probably not watching this, but yeah, I hated this movie so much. Yeah, this movie, I might give this movie like a 2, 3, 4, like a 4 out of 10. I hated this. And the villain wants Woody's voice box. The villain wants to take Woody's voice box by force, and Woody gives it to her. Just, why would Woody give away his voice box for someone who he met like a day ago and literally wants to take it off him by force? And he gives it to her. And all of a sudden, she goes the whole movie being the bad guy, and then at the end of the movie, her and Woody are suddenly friends. And they try to find her a new home. So, you know what? I've spent the last day trying to wipe this movie from my memory, and for good reason. To me, it's terrible. Like, 3 out of 10. Anyway, that is the only bad Toy Story movie, by the way. By the way, Andy's not even in this movie. There's like a montage of Andy. There's like a montage of moments with Andy at the start of the movie. That's it. Oh, by the way, you know why Woody? The other reason why Woody abandoned all his friends? Because Forky, yes, the main character who is a spork is called Forky, who, by the way, is literally just a spork with googly eyes and with googly eyes and Play-Doh stuck to the. It is literally a spork with googly eyes and Play-Doh put on it. Pipe cleaner tied around it, and then the little girl pasted a broken popsicle stick to the bottom of it and called it a toy. Oh my good grief! This is one of the worst. This is one of the worst movies. This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. This movie literally had me in a bad mood for literally the entire day yesterday. I'm calmed down now, but man, did I hate that movie. Yeah, like 3 out of 10. Anyway, moving on. Toy Story 3. Yeah. No, not Toy Story 3. My third favourite Toy Story movie, by the way, 4 is the only one I hate. 4 is the only one that I despise. Moving on to yeah. And I don't know what I'm even talking about. Toy Story 1. Toy Story 1. Yeah, as nostalgic as I am for this movie, I can't deny I didn't enjoy it as much as the other two. I did still really enjoy it. It's a great movie. Sid is a great villain. Woody and Buzz fighting throughout the whole thing is somewhat annoying, but can be entertaining. I mean, yeah, Bo Peep is not this tough woman in this movie. Thank the Lord. And yeah, also Rex. Was Rex even in Toy Story 4? I can't even remember if he was even in the movie. Same with Ham and Mr. Potato. The only one of them characters I remember actually doing something is Jesse. Jesse punctures one of the tires. Well, yeah, I'm talking about Toy Story 4. Jesse punctures one of the tires, and yeah, I can't be talking about Toy Story 1 because Jesse's not even in Toy Story 1. Yeah, Jesse punctures one of the tires to try to get them to stay, and then also the toys somehow end up trying to become a sat-nav to direct them to Woody. But Woody abandons him anyway, so what was the point in that? Anyway, that's enough about Toy Story 4. For me, that movie, you know what, for me, that movie was so bad, it just doesn't exist. I'm going to say it now, I don't consider Toy Story 4 to even exist. Yes, it is that bad. I'll just be getting the Blu-rays of 1, 2 and 3. I'll just be getting the DVD, well, yeah, I've got one of them on DVD here. Yeah, but I'll just be getting 1 and 3 on DVD, because I've got 2 on DVD, but yeah, I'm not getting 4. I don't want to be anywhere near that movie ever again. Anyway, Toy Story 1. Man, I got sidetracked there. Yeah, Sid is a great villain. Woody, Buzz, and all the other toys are really funny. I can't really say much about it, except for the parts with Sid's toys are actually really entertaining. And my screen is a bit dirty there. Is there? No, that's just stuff up there. All of Sid's toys are really creepy and really scary. I mean, yeah, Sid's a bit of a creepy kid to be honest. I mean, he's a kid who likes blowing up toys, which is kind of psychotic. I would have liked to see him in Toy Story 4. To suddenly find Woody. I don't know. But yeah, the introduction of Buzz is great. And then him and Woody spend the whole movie, well, not the whole movie fighting, but yeah, most of it. They end up actually, I think Woody accidentally knocks Buzz out of the window and then he tries to find him. And then they both end up inside, what is it, like a rocket? One of them claw machine thing, I don't know what they're called. It's like, you know, the claw machine that comes down and it picks up toys and you have to drop it into a hole. Yeah, that. They end up in one of them. Sid actually gets both of them and takes them both home. And they end up trapped in Sid's house and they have to try to escape. And it's actually really entertaining. Look, Mr. Potato Head kind of annoyed me in the first movie because he just did not want to forgive Woody or want to believe Woody at all. He just wanted to make Woody look like a murderer. Despite the fact that murdering a toy is pretty much impossible. Because, yeah, even in Toy Story, murdering a toy is literally impossible. So, yeah, I mean, Toy Story 1 is a great movie, and the end scenes are kind of thrilling. Not as thrilling as 3 or 2, but still, it's a pretty exciting ending. It's really fun. They basically, they're leaving, literally, they have a plan to scare Sid back into the house, and then Woody and Buzz escape onto the car, but Buzz still has the rocket that Sid ordered taped to his back, and yeah, they actually try to, they get that, you know, what do you call them, the little green remote control car. I think I had one of them when I was a kid. Basically, they use him to try to catch up, but they can't catch him, and Woody actually ends up trying to use the match, but a car goes past, and then he realizes that Sid burned his head with something. I don't know where I'm going with this. Basically, if you've seen the movie, it'll make a lot more sense than me explaining it, to be honest. He uses, you know, because his hand is plastic, he uses that to light the fuse on the rocket, and then they both end up flying over the moving truck back into Andy's car, or van. Yeah, Toy Story 1 is great. It's, well, anything is better than the fourth movie, in my opinion, right? Anything is better than that. I've watched, this might be a bit of an exaggeration, but I've watched preschoolers TV shows that make more sense than Toy Story 4. And I'm not even kidding. I've actually watched preschoolers TV shows that make more sense than that movie. Let's need to check my phone. Just checking some football scores here. Hang on. Yeah, Kilmarnock and Celtic are 1-1 at half time. Rangers 1-3-0. Anyway, yeah. My second favourite Toy Story movie is Toy Story 3. Yeah, I watched this 2 days ago. I can't remember much, but I do remember really enjoying it. I remember thinking Lotso was a great villain. 14 minutes. I'm going to have to slow this. I'm maybe going to have to try and keep this at least 22 minutes. Basically, basically Andy is moving on. He's going to college, and Woody struggles to accept this. Woody really cannot accept this. So he basically tries to he basically comes up with plots to try to get Andy to play with him, but it doesn't work. And he actually ends up apparently putting Woody in a box to take to college with him. But Woody escapes to the other toys. He actually somehow somehow end up in a daycare. But I'll just start again. Basically, Andy's moving on. He's going to college, and he puts all the toys in a bag to put them into the attic, but his mum mistakes them for trash, and they have a plot to get out of the bag. Well, basically, it's literally just break the bag with Rex's tail, because it's pointy. So, yeah. And, yeah. But they actually end up in a box for daycare, that like a box that's going to, what is it, Sunnyside Daycare for kids, and some of the scene where all the like 2-3-year-olds run in and start playing with toys, like, well, in terrifying ways. It's one of the funniest scenes in the whole movie, and Lotso is a great villain. Lotso is a really good villain. He basically doesn't turn Buzz evil. He turns him. He basically makes Buzz think he's a space ranger again, and it's actually hilarious. Not as funny as Buzz speaking Spanish though. Yeah, Spanish Buzz. One of the funniest things in the whole series, genuinely. For some reason I didn't like that when I originally watched the movie, but now that I watched it, I just need to fix this. Now that I watched it back, it is utterly hilarious, absolutely brilliant. It's so funny. Him and then at the end of the movie, him and Jesse dancing, brilliant. This movie just had so many laughs. And basically, he turns Buzz, Lotso, you know, the little pink bear thing. Hang on, I'll show you the background on my phone. Hang on, him there, that pink bear. You know him? Yeah, that's the villain. That pink bear. And yeah, he basically was abandoned. Well, him and two other toys were abandoned. Him, a big baby doll, and a creepy clown toy is what I'm going to say, were abandoned by their owner, and yeah, they ended up in the daycare centre. Well, they weren't actually donated, they actually just went there themselves, but yeah, it's actually a pretty creepy scene, but it's really well done. It's a really well done scene, that is. And yeah, the end was so exciting. Probably the most exciting, well, thrilling, would I call it exciting or terrifying? You know what? I'll go with terrifying, because they basically end up at a, well, what do you call it? A dump? Or a junkyard? And basically, they almost get incinerated. Like, Lotso pretends to help them. He's stuck under, what is it, a golf bag or something he's stuck under? And, yeah, he tricks them into climbing a ladder so he can press the button, and then he walks off and leaves them to get incinerated. But then, you know the little aliens? You know the little alien things? Hang on. Are they on this background? Yeah, there they are. The aliens. And yeah, there's Jesse. Jesse's probably my favourite character, by the way, besides Woody and Buzz. Yeah, can someone correct me if I'm wrong, but Mrs. Potato Head, can someone tell me her voice actor? Because I've heard her before. I'm thinking it might be, I don't know who it might be, but I'm thinking it might be the woman from, you know, Raymond's mum from Everybody Loves Raymond. It might be her. I don't know. But yeah, and then the ending. Yeah, basically, they all think they're going to get incinerated. They're all sitting there holding hands, thinking they're going to get incinerated. And then the aliens use a claw to save them. You know, because, you know, and like a callback to the first movie. Like there actually is quite a few callbacks in this movie. And yet, there's also stuff with Barbie and Ken. And as much as I hate Barbie stuff, Barbie and Ken in this movie were actually... I can't believe I'm saying this, but Barbie and Ken were actually pretty funny. I mean, a bit weird sometimes, but still pretty funny. So, yeah, and they eventually do turn Buzz back to the good side. You know, despite the fact that a TV falls on him and he somehow survives. A small plastic toy, about 7 inches, about no bigger than this, no taller than this brick, getting crushed by a giant box TV, and he survived. Well, it actually knocks Buzz back to normality, but yeah, and then the ending with Andy giving his toys to Bonnie. I hated Bonnie in the 4th movie. And something I forgot to mention about Toy Story 4, Bonnie abandoned Woody for a spork. I think that may be why Woody left, because if she hadn't have made that spork, or if Andy would have just taken Woody to college with him, Toy Story 4 wouldn't have happened. But yeah, Toy Story 3 literally had the perfect ending. Andy giving his toys to Bonnie, who promised to take care of them. She promised to take care of Woody. And then replaces him with a plastic spork. Anyway, enough about Toy Story 4. If I could rant about that movie, if I made a rant video about that movie, it would probably be like half an hour long. Alright? But yeah, there's so much wrong with that movie, I can't describe it. But anyway, now moving on. My favourite Toy Story movie, and probably my favourite Disney movie of all time. It's this. Anyway, but before I get that, I just want to finish talking about Toy Story 3's ending. It was emotional. Like, basically, Woody is in the college box, and he actually writes something on the box. It says, to daycare. But they actually don't go to daycare. They go to they go to Bonnie. If they had just stayed in the daycare centre, then again, Toy Story 4 couldn't have happened. And I wouldn't be complaining at the start of this video. Anyway. Yeah, we're 21 minutes. I'm still talking about Toy Story 3. Anyway, yeah, Andy gives his toys to Bonnie. He moves on, but he's kind of reluctant to give Woody up. Because, you know, Woody's been with him for years. He's been with him since he was a kid. He's been with me since he was a kid. I mean, I don't have a Woody doll. I would want to get one. I'm sure I could find one in B&M or something, but yeah. Next time I go to B&M, I'm going to try to find a Woody doll. Or maybe a Buzz one, I don't know. And if not, I'm sure I'll find one at a charity shop somewhere. Anyway, yeah, that's Toy Story 3. Wonderful movie. Brilliant. So good. Now moving on to my favourite Toy Story movie of all time. And probably my favourite Disney movie of all time. This is a movie, like the first Toy Story movie. I grew up with this movie. A lot of people grew up with this movie. This is, for me, just the best movie in the whole series. And it's Toy Story 2. It's, like, words cannot describe how nostalgic I am for this movie. I used to watch this all the time. Basically, the movie starts off with like a Buzz versus... basically, Rex is playing a video game, but we see it from like the video game's perspective instead of Rex. It basically starts off, Buzz is like landing on a planet, he gets surrounded by aliens, and he makes his way to find Zurg. Zurg defeats Buzz, well, Zurg defeats Rex, because Rex is the one playing the game. And the controller kind of looked like a Super Nintendo controller, considering it came out in 1999, and the Super Nintendo was discontinued in, was it 98? I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, basically Woody is about to go to cowboy camp with Andy. Woody's arm rips, and he actually ends up, well, he finds this old toy, what's his name? I think it's Wheezy, it's like a squeaky penguin. He ends up in a yard sale being told, Woody takes Buster to go to save him, but Woody falls off with Buster's, and how Buster's a dog, by the way. How Buster doesn't notice, I don't know, but yeah, basically Woody ends up in the hands of Rafa Benitez. I mean, Al. Yeah, if anyone has seen that meme, you'll know what I'm talking about. He ends up in the hands of Al! Al from Al's Toy Barn. And Al, I don't know if I hated him as a kid, but Al is kind of entertaining in this movie. I mean, and yeah, this is a movie where we meet, probably, apart from Woody and Buzz, my favourite character, Jessie. And yeah, look at all the characters in this movie. You got Pete the Prospector, you got Bullseye, you got the aliens, you got Zurg. Actually, like, Zurg's away at the back there, I didn't even see him, but yeah. And something I forgot to mention about the first movie, Buzz comes in, because Buzz was a birthday present for Andy. And also at the start of Toy Story, was it 4 or 3? I think it was Toy Story 3. The army toys left. So yeah, but anyway, Toy Story 2, Woody ends up, well, kidnapped, or well, toy-napped by Al, not Rafa Benitez. Don't make a Rafa Benitez joke. Don't make a Rafa Benitez joke. Anyway, yeah, Woody ends up kidnapped, or toy-napped, or however you want to say it, and then he ends up meeting Jessie and Bullseye and the Prospector, who ends up being the villain, by the way. Just spoilers. Yeah, I'll actually put this in the title of the video, just spoilers. So yeah, if you haven't seen all the Toy Story movies, I would if any of you guys haven't seen all the Toy Story movies, I would recommend you find a box set or something and sit through them. And if anyone hates 4 as much as I do, then that's great. But okay, if you guys like Toy Story 4, that's fine. I'm just saying, I personally couldn't stand it. Anyway, Yeah, Toy Story 2. Where was I? Yeah. Woody meets the Roundup gang, and they actually show him. Like, Woody doesn't even know who he is. Woody sees himself, like, with all this stuff, like, all this merchandise from his own TV show. Like, Woody has his own TV show, and he doesn't even know it. And yet, him and Jesse and Bullseye sitting there watching this show. It's just really nice to watch. Jesse is so. And Jesse's story is kind of emotional in this movie. Like, Jesse, one of the main characters, Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, by the way. I don't know why I'm putting that out there, but yeah. Basically, Jesse and the Prospector and all, Jesse and the Prospector and all are going to Japan. Well, I say going to Japan. They don't actually end up going at the end of the movie, but, but Woody says he has to get back to Andy, and this kind of irritates Jesse. Like, Jesse kind of hates him for a while, and then we find out that Jesse was abandoned by an owner. Yeah, we find out Jesse was abandoned by donated to charity by her owner. I think her name was Emily, which people are actually speculating, people do speculate that Emily, the one who abandoned Jesse, could be Andy's mum. And basically, the movie turns into a rescue mission for Buzz and all the other toys to rescue Woody, and that is why this game exists, basically. If there wasn't a rescue mission, this game wouldn't exist. This is wonderful game. Anyway, games for a different time. And one of my favourite scenes in the movie is when they're making their way to Al's toy barn and they have to cross the road, so they use cones, and it actually ends up in a massive traffic pile-up. So funny. It's actually a really funny scene. Mr. Potato Head almost gets crushed. Like, Mr. Potato Head almost legitimately gets killed. Because, basically this truck that has like a big rolling cement thing, I don't know what it's called, is rolling at the speed of a snail. Like, if that thing was rolling across the road towards me, I could literally walk across the road and beat it. That's how slowly it was rolling. But yeah, they get the Al's toy barn, they actually, and all the stuff, they end up driving around trying to find Woody, they don't, and then they end up actually getting a toy store. Buzz runs into another Buzz, bloody hell, 27 minutes. Buzz runs into another Buzz who actually ends up helping them, but kind of thinks he's another Space Ranger at first, and then they end up finding Woody, but Woody decides that he wants to stay with the Roundup gang, and yeah, they actually all end up going to the airport. And yeah, Andy is in cowboy camp for this whole thing, by the way. Andy doesn't know any of this. Like, if Andy knew all his toys were missing, this movie would be even more emotional than it already was. And yeah, they all end up in the airport trying to save Woody and all, and the Prospector actually locks them in the room. In Al's apartment. But they actually, how they ended up escaping, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Well, actually, Al took them to the airport, so maybe that's how. But yeah, and yet the end where they end up trying to find the case. It's genuinely a really good scene. Buzz finds him, and then the Prospector just punches him off of the conveyor belt, and then Woody attacks him, and the Prospector rips his arm again, so Andy doesn't figure that his mum fixed him, even though he probably could have just assumed that. And yeah, basically they end up having to rescue Jesse out of the plane itself. As the plane is taking off, they literally jump out of, I think it's like what's it called, like a compartment or something, I don't know. They find this little door, they open it, Woody actually slips off, Jesse holds on to him, but Woody actually uses a string to swing down under the wheels and land on Bullseye, and yeah. Yeah, this movie is just, it's, in my opinion, it's a masterpiece. In my opinion, this movie is a masterpiece. And if you haven't seen this movie, what is wrong with you? Guys, I cannot describe the nostalgia I have for this movie. It is, oh, it's wonderful. And the blooper reel at the end of it, one of my favourite things ever. Like, when I first saw this, I was like, I didn't even remember this was at the end of the movie somehow. This is possibly my most nostalgic movie of all time. So yeah, that's Toy Story 2. All the Toy Story movies get a 10 out of 10. besides Toy Story 4, that gets like a 3 out of 10 for me. But yeah, I haven't seen any of the other shorts as well. I know there was a Buzz Lightyear Star Command show, Woody's Roundup, which, by the way, isn't a TV show. I don't know why. Make that a TV show. If anyone's watching this, should Woody's Roundup be a TV show? And yeah, there's a Buzz Lightyear Star Command. There's a Buzz Lightyear of Star Command spin-off movie that actually ended up as a TV show that I've heard was pretty good. I think there was also a Buzz Lightyear Star Command video game as well, but I've heard that was kind of boring. So yeah, and there's also the Toy Story 3 video game which I played, but is the PS3 one was messed up, and I had it on 360, but I lost it, so I'll have to get it on 360 again. And yeah, so yeah. But that's enough for me rambling about Toy Story, guys. I'm going to go and maybe read this. I'm going to read this book, so yeah, thanks for watching. I'm probably just going to go and watch Toy Story 2 again, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys.